welcome to the latest edition of our Rewind series, brought to you by Racing TV in association with Paddy, which is also my name. And this time, myself and Ruby Walsh have been joined by none other than Patrick Mullins to look back at some of the highs and lows of years gone by. Patrick, thanks a million for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Paddy. I really enjoyed watching these in the past, but I'm just wondering, am I the first non-retired jockey to do it?
Didn't want to say.
Wondering, are you trying to tell me something?
Well, so Patrick, before we get stuck into watching back some of the races, I'm just curious about, obviously with your breeding, being born into the Mullins dynasty, first of all, was there ever any doubt? Did you have a choice about what you wanted to do, or are you always going to be a jockey? And secondly, it's obviously mad busy now, it's huge. I mean, was it always that big and that big of a thing?
No, look, I was mad into soccer when I was younger at Man United. I went down to do two of the Man United camps in Waterford, never got the phone call, and then only really got interested into riding horses when I was 11 or 12 and I could go out in the gallops. You know, I always had ponies and I show jumped and did all that, but that was when I got out in the gallops I realised I wanted to be a jockey. But Willie always said to me that you're very tall, you'll probably only ride till you're 20 or 21 before the weight gets too much. So when I started riding, it was always a case of, I'm not going to do this forever, but we're still here anyway.
Yeah, and the man beside you there, Ruby, did you kind of mentor him, or was he ever a threat to you or anything like that? Or?
I wouldn't say mentor him. Of course he was the threat. You'd go through loads of bumpers here when he rode the first string and I wasn't allowed to, but I wouldn't say mentor. I was obviously always there and would have treated Patrick the same way as any other younger jockey in the yard. If they wanted a bit of help or looking for a bit of advice, I was more than willing to give it.
Yeah, we can check if that's factually correct.
And that went along with lectures as well.
Yeah.
I wasn't just good at saying you were a great fella, I was probably much better at telling them what they all did wrong. But no, and as Patrick says, like, as a kid, he wasn't around that much and all of a sudden he appeared and he could ride, from none of us knowing that he was ever on a horse. All of a sudden he was flat out in the gallop.
Your memories of him giving out to you or teaching you, or did you look up to him?
No, yeah, definitely. I would have always looked to Ruby. Ruby was the idol growing up. He was the man, and
makes you feel old, Ruby, doesn't it?
I was actually, yeah.
You'd be trying to style yourself on him and ride like him, but he was always very good. You could always ask him a question. He'd always give you an answer, always a straight answer. He wasn't one for giving. He'd say it. He might only say one word or one sentence, but you know, he wouldn't go on, but that's all you needed to hear. Yeah. And I remember I was riding in a schooling race when I was maybe 11 or 12, which I think might have caused a bit of furore at the time, but in Tipperary, and we were down the start and Ruby just looked over and just took my stick off me and said, you just follow me. So he went around with both sticks and no one was harmed anyway, but that was my first day on the racecourse, but I remember that, yeah.
So we're going to start with your first winner at Cheltenham. This is Cousin Vinny back in 2008. You were a very young man back then. Not that you're not anymore. Was there many losing attempts before this? Or?
No, I'd had one ride at the festival the year before on a horse called Adam the Approach, who was a great favourite. There was only 3 or 4 years between us in age, I think, at the time. I rode him in the Pertemps handicap. We finished third, and I thought I was even a bit unlucky. We'd bypassed the second last for some reason. I dropped out and was coming late and got into a bit of traffic, but finished third was great. So this was my second ride.
Yeah. And what do you remember about it? Like you were.
Yeah, what I remember, I thought I was riding the first string.
Right. Okay.
This is when it dawned on me that I was riding the second strings in the bumper.
Yeah, look, that year probably the first year I was riding on the bumper horses, and we'd had 6 or 7 Rubies on after Approach in the blue, David Collins on Lily White Dancer in the green and white. I'm following Ruby, surprise, surprise, in the yellow, Cousin Vinny. Yeah. And we had a couple others there as well, but. My plan was to follow Ruby. Ruby knew what he was doing, and
you were hoping he knew what he was doing.
yeah. Well, I'd followed Ruby or Barry Connell, one or the other anyway. But got a great posse. I mean, it's the bumper's a rough race, and I mean, if I could get that position every year, I'd be delighted.
Yeah. Do you remember like these things? Like the first winner's obviously emotional, all that kind of stuff, whatever. But do you remember specifics about the race, and there's like, oh, I was lucky here, I was unlucky there, or this happened or that happened?
Yeah, you do, and you have to remember as well, this day the racing had been called off the day before because of the wind, so there was 10 races this day, so
and how many rides did you have?
Just a one for the whole week.
Yeah. I was thinking, is it always that dark?
Yeah, I mean, and I think it was a lot darker than that. But yeah, this was race 9 or race 10 on the day, and like we were going down in the dark.
That's why I don't remember it.
yeah.
I remember it.
But it was, if you could have a race go perfectly, that was it. Basically like the Robin and Eagle, I just followed Ruby until it was time to go.
Yeah. And so, well, Ruby said that to me before. Is that the way you'd approach, say, a race like Cheltenham? Like normally you're up against amateurs until you get to Cheltenham, and then it's the pros are there as well. Like Ruben said that before, that you kind of look around sometimes if you're not sure if you're going the right pace, if the right jockeys are around you, you've probably got a good idea that you're doing something right.
That's it. When I started off riding bumpers, I used to follow Nina, and and when you're in a race and Ruby's there, just follow Ruby. It was fairly simple at the time.
And did you know, like had Cousin Vinny won? We run. This is second, third run.
So he'd won, I think, about 2 days before the cut-off. He got going very late, and he'd gone the punch down, and it was on the inside track, and he was very green. And then about a furlong, we were going to finish third or fourth, and furlong out, the penny dropped, and he flew and made up 5 or 6 lengths in about the last 100 yards and won well. Now, I came over to Cheltenham thinking I was riding a horse called Drive On Regardless.
Okay.
And then the morning at Dex, Willie rang me and says, you're riding Cousin Vinny. Now, after Approach was the horse we wanted to ride. He was related to Adam De Approach, funnily enough, same owners. Yeah. And he'd bolted up with me in Goran. So I'm following Ruby in here. I remember what Willie had said to me at the time. He said, in the bumper, he says, if you can't go and go again, you're not good enough. So my thing, once we were coming down the hill, get involved, cross the road, kick for home, and if he was good enough, he'd keep going. So that was when you can see.
Yeah, I remember you landing down here thinking, he's going too soon.
So here we go. We crossed the road and away with us. And I tell you one thing, it's a long way home from there. I remember turning in, and just I couldn't even see the winning post. I know it was dark, but and you know I took it out. I've hit him. He's gone a bit to his left, but what I'm happy is I put it down, and hit him again. He's gone over a bit to left. I can see Nina Carberry, who of course is after beating me loads of bumpers at home. I pulled it into my left hand, which I'm quite happy with now. Davy Russell is coming late on Zarito. I think that hadn't gone to plan. I'm not sure Colin Murphy's still not talking to Davy Russell from that. But we finally got over the line, and I don't know. I mean, look, you win your ride your first win on Cheltenham, you kind of expect the heavens to open, and they don't. But it's a fantastic feeling. Like you don't hear the at that stage, the last race, a lot of the crowd is gone as well. But it didn't matter what I did in the saddle after that. Yeah. Once I had a winner at Cheltenham.
That's a box ticked, pressure off.
Not even the box tick. It's the box.
So I've noticed, and we're going to see a theme of this throughout the various races we've watched. You're very fit. Like you seem, you can be very, you can be at the horse for a long, ride them for a long time to get the most out of them. And some of the ones, there were some really exciting ones later on. Do you work on your fitness?
I run a lot. And I'm in the gym now. Lately, as I got a bit older, I've got more into the gym. But no, I mean, look, everyone's fit, and I'm riding a lot of horses the horses are fit, and that makes it a lot easier.
I read somewhere, is this true, that you hold the record in Clongowes? That was your school. There's some mile race or whatever. You go out one gate and down the road and in the other gate and around.
The triangle, you out the back avenue, down the road and up the front avenue. And yeah, there's every year I used to have 3 or 4 pacemakers, and I'd have someone to bring me to this point in 1 minute, someone to bring me to this point in 2 minutes, and then get into the straight and like that, kick for touch. I did get it, but Jack O'Leary, who be Ed O'Leary's son, has since wiped it off the board. So I'm not up there anymore.
But you're a proper runner then. Like
I used to run a lot, and not as much anymore.
Okay, fair enough. So you will notice a theme today of kind of bringing you back down to earth a little bit. So we're going to watch Cousin Vinny at Leopardstown here, and it doesn't end well for you.
No, look, he'd won the Champ Bumper. He went back to Punchdown, won the Champ Bumper and Punchdown. He was the first horse to do it. And Willie had left me on him. And Luke McMahon had syndicated the horse, and they left me on him, which is something I'm forever grateful for. He'd won his maiden hurdle at Leopardstown Christmas. Then he went to Naas. He won in Naas in a very high winds day.
It was Saturday, wasn't it?
Yeah, very high winds. None of the horses even wanted to line up. They wanted to turn their backs to it. And then he'd come here. Now this was an interesting race because Hurricane Fly was declared for this. He was lame. He missed Cheltenham because of it. And Paul was on him. And Willie left me on Cousin Vinny and Paul on Hurricane Fly. Paul was 18 at the time.
I was in the Wareham. I had gotten suspended the previous May in Stratford and hadn't appealed the decision. I jumped the water jump instead of going around it. Okay. And Hurricane Fly went to O'Toy and Davy Condon rode him. And then I think his next run, Hurricane Fly, ran at Leopardstown, but I was in Chepstow.
Okay.
I think I was in Chepstow. But whatever way it bounced anyway, I hadn't made enough effort to be riding Hurricane Fly, so Willie left me in the Wareham, left Paul.
So it was Willie like just making a point,
making his point, and Patrick rode Cousin Vinny, and I was having a cup of tea.
Yeah. So Yeah, so here we are. The thing about this race was this meeting was put back a week. It was a week closer to Cheltenham, and that was on my mind. I didn't want to give this horse a hard race because a week close to Cheltenham. Panorama, Paul Carberry in the yellow. I'm here in Panorama in the white. I'm here in the yellow, and I know I've him beat. So I have a look left or right, can't see the other horse. Look left, see both horses. Right, go down, pop this, win on the bridle, win easy. And unfortunately, that's not what happens. Jumps it perfect, stumbles, and out the side door.
That's
Yeah.
That's right.
So yeah, look, it was just one of those things. I mean, I remember Alan Sweetman making a thing that I'd look left and right and that I'd unbalance the horse, but I mean, it was so far from the last.
Yeah.
It wasn't. But the reason I was so trying to win easy was the week. It had been delayed a week, and it was a week closer to Cheltenham. It was quite close.
And
to
what's the
Cheltenham.
theory there that the horse, if you had pushed him out and seen a stride, he might have?
Look,
He just
when
knuckled him. And that's
yeah,
just, is that not just one of those things? Geez, you don't look happy there.
No, like, you know, and I'm young and I'm an amateur, and you know, Ruby's in the weigh room, and it was a big loss. Yeah, I stood up straight after. Learned that lesson. You should never stand straight up.
Yeah.
Paddy Flood wiped me out on a horse called Weston Charmer, I think it was. But I remember walking back in, and Ted Walsh came over to me before I even got into the weigh room, and he says, I was riding the favourite in Champion Hurdle one year and fell off it on the flat, clipped the heel or something.
The hill, yeah.
And he just said, you know, he says, these things happen. And and I remember I went out and won the bumper on a horse called Sicilian Secret, and rode in the same way, sat until 100 yards out and
Yeah, but delaying the challenge that was not irrelevant.
Yeah,
he
just
just
knuckled
stumbled.
after the thing. Like,
it was one of those things. And
funny, and he went on then in the team of like it's quite nice to see because he was favoured for the Supreme the following. Now he didn't win, but you kept the ride on him, right? He's favoured for the Supreme.
Favoured for the
Obviously
Supreme.
first choice of the stable, and once again Ruby gets.
Did I ever ride Cousin Vinny?
you did. You were running with fences, and he wasn't a natural, and you won a hurdle on him. The Punchdown New Year's Eve hurdle or something like that.
A few years later, yeah.
He never really got to the. His jumping
level,
didn't improve him
yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got left on him in the Supreme Novice, and that was a big ride. It was a big call from Willie and again from Luke and Syndicate. We finished fifth. We missed the last. We might have been third.
Yeah.
We went back to Punchdown.
It was
We
going
finished.
Angel, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we
Wasn't
finished
fast
second.
enough, was he?
Finished second to Michael Dagenham over 2.5 in Punchdown.
Probably would have ran 2.5 at Cheltenham if Michael Dagenham wasn't around.
That was probably it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but anyhow.
Okay. Anyway, onwards and upwards. Champagne Fever, 2012. 4 years later for your next.
How roles change.
Yeah.
How roles change.
Well,
He's not following me this time.
oh yeah. Okay.
So this was a bit different. Champagne Fever, he got beaten at Christmas. We thought he was at Champ Bump horse. He got beat at Christmas by a horse called Thomas Edison, who went on to win the Galway Hurdle. And I've never seen Willie train a horse like it afterwards. He decided the horse wasn't fit. He was doing everything too easy at home. We brought him home and we worked him hard, every morning hard. And
I saw him do it once since.
well,
He did the same with Allaho after he got beat in the same bumper.
there you go, yeah. So we went to Fairy House and decided he had a high cruising speed, and I rode him very positively. Like I remember getting a mile out in Fairy House and send him on, and it's not usually how we'd ride.
Yeah.
No, I can't remember riding a horse like that since. So anyway, we turn up for the bumper here. Scott's Irish was after breaking his leg on me in the cross country day before, and so I was very upset about that. And then I had got a fall earlier this day in the National Chase. Had fallen at Gaillard, brought down Katie Walsh on her second string, and had cracked my collarbone.
So you're broken collarbone here.
I wouldn't say it was broken, but it
Cracked, yeah.
Come on. Terminology is very important here.
my right arm, and Katie Walsh standing over me, giving out to me. What am I doing? It was my fault that she ran into me anyway.
Yeah.
So anyway, got back
Good
up.
to see that you're over it anyway.
But I remember going out in this in a very peculiar state of mind. I was just tick, I was sore, and my game plan was I wasn't going to pull out of him. I wasn't going to send him on faster, but I wasn't going to pull out of him. If someone to go faster than me, great. If they didn't, that was
And
that
did you
was fine.
know he had loads of stamina at this stage?
We just knew he had a real long stride and real high cruising speed.
Yeah. And you said to me before, Ruby, years ago, that I remember I asked just probably a stupid question, but how do you know if a horse wants to be a front runner or in the pack or whatever? And you kind of made the point that they're pack animals. Sometimes there's leaders, sometimes there's not.
There is,
that
but
what this fella was like?
This fella was, and it's funny, I rode him the following year in the Supreme, but I rode him on Patrick's theory.
Yeah.
Because I'd said to him, what about Champagne Fever? And he said, I'm telling you now, if you're pulling out and you're going too slow, and if you're kicking him, you're going too fast, just let him gallop.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he did. Now, I did think here, I'm in the blue colours, the white sleeves, second row back on the outside. I remember thinking at the top of the hill here, I was riding Pick Sue. I'd pick him off.
Yeah.
I was cantering this hard. I thought I was wondering would Pick Sue settle, and he'd switched off like a dream.
He was a flat horse. He won Royal Oscar afterwards. He was a speedy horse.
Yeah.
And even Manny Clouds and the Trevor Hemmings. So you have and the Grand National winner and the Royal Oscar winner upsides.
Yeah.
You have the new one in the red colours just behind them, and then you have Jessica Champion Herd winner in the orange colours out the back. I mean, it was a
Not
fantastic
a bad race.
Yeah. So I remember turning down the hill here and just giving him a squeeze.
And I remember turning down the hill thinking, whoa.
Yeah. And the same thing, but I'm still in the go thing. So we've gone, and we're about to go again once we cross the road here again.
So have you, do you literally just give him more rein and he knows to speed up, or?
You're squeezing, you can
Or
see
you
my
give-
legs,
okay,
you
you're
see my legs,
squeezing the
you see
legs,
I've changed my hands there, changed my reins, got a fresh hold of him. You'd be clicking away at him. And then we get to the road here now, and on with him, and come and get me.
See, here now you'd be thinking, okay, he's in trouble because they're hacking behind you. But then you've got plenty.
It
like.
keeps going. And if you see here now, I've got my stick in my right hand, and I am right-handed, but I try to hit him there, I can't. Pull into my left, so it's all
Because of your collarbone.
I couldn't rise my right hand.
That's why you couldn't turn the bend.
Yeah. But some of people wasn't a horse to do tight turns. He was a horse momentum. Sometimes a tight turn isn't the right thing to do. So I've got Barry Gaillard. In fact, this is one of my favourite races. I've got Barry Gaillard on one side, Ruby Walsh on the other side, up the hill in Cheltenham, and we've got home in front. So like, I don't think it gets any better than that, to be honest.
Yeah.
And you can
That's
see
my point about your fitness. Like, obviously, you didn't miss a beat there. I mean, I'm presuming you're out of breath after pushing away like that all the way.
I'm sore. I don't even celebrate. Watch. I'm sore. I don't even celebrate until we're well pulled up.
Yeah.
But that was. I got a great kick out of that. I mean, yeah, it was.
That was good. I mean, again, questions I always love asking the jockeys. Do you prefer winning from the front or holding them up, or does it matter?
For me, I always, if you could choose a way, you'd drop out and come late and fast.
Exactly right. Just land there on the line.
But look, once you win, it doesn't matter how you do it.
Well, speaking of which, this is back in focus. National Hunt Chase 2013, the following year, and this is your first Cheltenham winner over obstacles. And I can see you there in the Graham Wiley colours. We don't see them anymore, unfortunately, the brown and black. He was a great owner, wasn't he, Graham Wiley?
Graham and Andrew were fantastic owners. If you could create an owner from scratch, look, they took the good days, the bad days.
Yeah.
They were just brilliant owners. They had a lot of luck, they had a lot of joy, and I had some great days with them as well.
Yeah.
We inherited this fella from Howard Johnson.
Howard Johnson, yeah.
I rode him in a hurdle race in Tipperary, then he won a beginner's chase in the stall, followed up in Punchestown in a 2-6, in a race Willie'd rarely have a runner in, Florida Pearl. Yeah. And then he went to Leopardstown and won the 3 mile at Christmas, and I remember thinking, he's probably not quick enough for the RSA, but saying to Willie, this fella's tailor-made for that.
I was about to ask that question, are they just slow? And you say, we can't win over
it's stamina.
3 miles.
So 3 mile one on the old course was the Brown Advisory, but this was, at that time, 4 miles on the new course, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's a different race.
So you're going through this race, 4 mile race.
It's on the old course.
Does your mind wander during it, or are you just?
No, there's so much jumping. And back then it was a great race. Before they started tweaking with it, you had a big field and lots of runners. But I'm travelled real well all the way. I've been sitting against them. But the minute we've turned down the hill here, we've gone downhill, we've kicked up a gear, and suddenly I'm flat out.
Yeah, if ever a horse looks beat, this fella.
I'm flat out down to
and
this
that's
fence.
Nina Carberry and the Gigginstown.
Nina in front, in the Gigginstown, Derek on the inside in the green, Jamie behind the yellow sleeves. But I'm flat out down to this, and I've asked him, and he's actually jumped it. But this is probably one of my finer taxi efforts. Unnecessary, I'd say. But anyway.
Who did you know on the side there?
Yeah. But Derek gets a great split up Nina's inside here. And I think Nina was probably keeping out for better ground.
She's looking at you.
To be
Never saw
fair.
him coming.
But and once Derek gets in, the pace ups again, and suddenly we're going. I can't go as far. I can't go with them.
So do you reckon Nina's gone too quick now because Derek came up the inside and she goes, okay, I can't.
She's
lose
had
this.
to go. She's had to go with Derek. If Derek wasn't there, I don't think I'd have beaten Nina.
And
She
the two
just
of
would
them
have kept
just
sitting.
run away from you.
Derek
You're
falls
gonna
here on the
go.
inside. That inside, that second last, you often see horses knuckle there. And my lad pricked the ear. When the horse fell, the crowd roared. My lad pricked the ear. Said, "You have a bit more in your tank."
Yeah.
So we've got
So you get an inkling. You just feel it.
Just get an
There's something
inkling.
there, yeah.
This fella's laughing at me.
yeah. Get stuck into him here now. And I remember I'm looking. You're looking up, but you're keeping going. The gap is getting smaller. Trying not to run into the back of Nina. Then you're looking for the winning post. Are you going to get there in time? He gets by, but then Nina picks up again. Well, we got there, and you're asking, was I blowing after Champion Fever? I was definitely blowing after that.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I presume you're on the wrong end of that as well, where you get done on the line or something. It must be awful for Nina watching that back. I'd say she's going, because the line just wouldn't come in time.
That's it. And look, in an ideal world, you love having someone to aim at up the hill in Cheltenham. But Nina had to go when Derek attacked her. but that's left her
On her own because he fell.
and then he's fallen. So, you know, people say great ride, but two things had to happen in order for me to win. If Derek stayed up, she probably would have won, or if Derek wasn't in the race, she'd have won because she wouldn't have. It would have been more of a faster finish.
And you never crossed your mind, I'm beat here. I'll just make sure I finished third, just get over the last couple or whatever.
No, but I was at my top speed, but there was more petrol in the tank. Okay. And the idea is, to me, and someone said it to me, and I think it's a great way, is you're trying to get all the water out of the bottle just at the finish line. You know, so you're not trying to pour it. So you're racing to the finish line, even though might not be where you want to be at the second last to last. It's the finish line is where you need to be.
Then you took a 5-year sabbatical for some reason and didn't get back in the winners' enclosure until 2018.
He thought it was easy.
I know.
Well, I had 3 winners between 2008 and 2013. I had 3 winners. So like I just thought, I should win every second year, and then 5 years with no winner.
Yeah. And were you conscious of it?
Oh, very. Very. Like every year
No.
Every year I'd go over.
But you wouldn't get that many rides because you're amateur, right?
No. So back then I'd had one in the bumper, and I might have one in the national chase, and I wasn't riding the pro races then.
But this it is Rathvinden, isn't it? In the same race again.
National chase again, Rathvinden. He was unusual for one of ours in this. He'd about 10 runs.
Which fella is he there? Where is he?
I'm in the red cap down the inside.
Yeah.
Tell you what, he was never going to ride. Yeah. The one in Richie's colours behind him. Live, love. Oh, what's his name?
Pile on the pressure.
Pile on the pressure, yeah.
Why?
Jumped terrible. And Katie does wonders to get around. But Rathvinden, he'd pull up first out Ruby Road and Navan. I think he might have come back lame or something. He missed time. Then he ran all through the summer. He went to Galway, went to the Stole, he got beaten Killarney, he's in Wexford. But his last 2 runs before this, he'd been brought down at Leopardstown Christmas, and he'd unseated me in the PJ Moriarty. So he'd a B and a U.
Yeah.
So, and he'd been racing during the summer, so he was raced a bit keen. So my whole thing was to jump out. I think I jumped off the last 2 or 3. It was a big field. And get him settled and get him jumping. Yeah. And then right after that. So we're creeping into it here. Everything's gone really well. He's jumped fantastic. He's settled really well. We're 5 or 6 lengths down.
Do you not get freaked out? I'm too far back here, or you just know you're going the pace for you, like?
Sure, I am where I am. Do you know? I can make up 5 lengths now, but I'd rather make up 5 lengths after the last, So your horse is going as fast as where he's comfortable. Ooh, there's Kate. And she keeps going. So they've gone a good gallop. You can see the horse has been dropping away. Derek and Jamie are behind me. That's always a good sign.
Yeah.
And
that's size in Tennessee, is it?
Size in Tennessee in front, yeah. Won a Hennessy afterwards.
Yeah.
Sam Willie Cohen is there. Will Biddick on Miss Parfois. So I have something to aim at, which is great.
Yeah.
But I do know I haven't got a whole lot up my sleeve. I'm hoping I'm going to get to the line. So I pull out here. You get a bit of a whoosh when you pull out from my horse. Jumps that well. And the reason I sit back up here is because I don't have a lot there, and I'm just trying to conserve, and I want to meet this right. We get in a bit tight, but get over it quick, and now it's just try and get over the line. We've got to the front, but Miss Parfois has actually got back past us.
Yeah.
And in fairness to Rathvinden, he's pulled it out again, and we've just got back up in the last couple of strides.
Jesus, that's dogged.
Yeah, he was tough, and he wasn't a big horse. And look, I got a great kick out of it because I hadn't had a winner in 5 years. And I thought as well, I got a kick out of it because I thought it was a good ride. It dropped out, conserved, just won. I ended up getting ride of the season for it.
Did you?
At the McCoy Awards. So, and the headline the next day in the race post was something Maradona, comparing it to Maradona's hand of God getting goal of the World Cup.
Yeah.
2 things now, which sure was goal of the World Cup.
Yeah.
And secondly, if an Englishman wants to compare me to Maradona, I'll take that.
Yeah, exactly.
But that was Rathvinden,
now let's have a look at what you could have won. Right, we're going to start with we have a couple now in a row where it didn't go so well. But this is Douvan and the champion chase against Altior in 2018, and the context around this is massive. You're just telling me there. So fill us all in.
Well, so I'd won a Grade 1 at Leopardstown 2 years previously because Paul Townend had got stood down in the first race, so I got on him on the day and we'd won very well. He'd gone to the champion chase the year before with Ruby and finished 7th, finished with an injury. That was the year
he was a certainty, like he was 2-9 or 1-5.
Finished with an injury and hadn't ran an entire year. This was his first run since champion chase the year before, and Ruby was meant to ride him, but
broke my leg.
Why?
Race before.
Who was that off?
Album photo.
Wow.
So, but I had in the back of my head, look, Ruby had been a bit fragile. I was ready for the ride just in case. So look, I got landed with it a half an hour before, but I had a plan. I knew what I was going to do. I was prepared for it. One thing I will say, if you watch Special Tiara at this fence, he almost goes to refuse it, which does change the complexion of the race. But yeah, one funny thing is, if you just watch him here now, he don't know what he does. He nearly goes to. It's a funny fence, this. Sometimes you see horses.
Put down,
And then suddenly we're sort of.
You're thrust
suddenly I had a great position, and now we're just maybe doing a little bit more than you want to. But I do remember.
You can't just tug him back then, can you?
No, but I didn't want to. When I'd won on him, and I'd gone in and spoken to Ruby with it lying on the thing with his broken leg, and he'd kind of said, just don't interfere with him too much, let him roll, let him gallop, let him jump.
The only thing I did say to you was, he's not blessed with scope. Everyone thought he was just a magnificent jumper. He wasn't. He didn't have the power to stand back as far as people thought he could.
But he jumps, if you watch him at every jump here, he jumps, I'm just letting him at it into every jump, and he's making ground at every jump. Even down to the water fence here. Now, Special Tiara probably isn't jumping. But
smiling, thinking of it's not because of your broken leg, but thinking of you lying in the bed, probably I presume feeling sorry for yourself, and then him coming into there.
Sure
Ruby, hope the leg's okay. Now tell us.
I'm fairly sure I was in the ambulance room. I think I don't think I'd left the race course, but I remember watching. I was lying in the bed in the ambulance room watching it, and like he was jumping fence to fence. I'm not going to lie, like I'm fit to puke off the side of the bed, like because it looks like he's going to win the champion chase. But he was that. See the way he got in there. That was his best jump. If he had to get in a little bit, he was so quick when he got in. That's when he was best.
So here we are, I've got the front now, and I'm actually slowing it up a bit, getting a little bit of a breather. I've come wide, it's the same ground as yesterday. Up to the ditch. I said lay up his neck and sort of said, go on, so. And he's just guessed, really. I mean, it was a stride he could have put down.
Is that your fault or not? Or
Look, when you fall, it's always your fault.
Looking at it there, what should you have done or could you have done? Or
well, maybe if I'd sat against him, but I do think that uphill ditch fence, you need a bit of momentum. You need to be going forward.
Okay.
Look, it is when you land. It's very important. If you get in there and you're slow, you land against the incline and you have to squeeze. But if you can jump it so that you have the momentum to carry you up, you sit up the hill. It is.
It's important.
Look, when you fall, you fall. I mean, I didn't whoop him, but I've asked him to go and attack the fence. He could have done that. To me, what he did was a horse that hadn't ran over fences in a year in a champion chase. You know, that was always going to be the risk. And did it take me a long time to get over? It probably did. I mean, look, I thought at the time I was absolutely cantering. But in reality, it's halfway, bit past halfway, and LTR1. Was he going to beat LTR off the prep he'd had?
It'd be some performance if he had.
It would have been a big ask. It would have been a big ask. And he came back then to Punchestown afterwards, and Paul rode him, I rode on the so, and I beat him on under so. So off that form, he wasn't going to beat LTR. But funny thing, I do remember we were walking out for the race, and always in the weigh room they have kind of race TV on, they have ITV on, and we're walking out, just jockeys are being called out, and I can just hear Matt Chapman say, and Douvan, drifting like a barge.
And that's obviously because you're on him, because he's broken his leg.
I'm not Ruby Walsh.
That's
but anyway, I was able to have a chuckle at that.
That's enough now,
But I do remember hitting the ground and thinking, please let this horse get up, because it was that kind of fall. You know, it was a real, it was just that kind of fall, and he got up and look, it was.
But did you feel extra pressure because it was a champion chase? You're stepping into his shoes. No, it wasn't. Like I know, I'm sure he wasn't favourite because he hadn't run for a year. But like, is it extra pressure? Or you just get on, I'm just going to ride a race? Like,
well, I'd ridden him already, which is great. I'd won him already. I had a plan. I only got a land with the third before, so I wasn't able to stew in it for whatever. And like, he wasn't like he was the year before he won the tree. He was going there as a free shot. He hadn't ran in a year. If it worked, great. If it didn't work,
pressure's off to a certain degree. Like,
But I mean,
as long as you don't fall.
It just it was very disappointing because it's a big ride to get, and it was very disappointing.
Okay, well, just to double down on your disappointment.
Could have interspersed these a bit.
Let's have a look at it. Not quite as big a race, but the Coral Cup, big huge Cheltenham handicap nonetheless. You're on Wicklow Brave. I see you out the back there with the orange star kind of in the purple colours.
You can see me stone last. Wicklow Brave.
Top weight, right?
Top weight, and again, 25 to 1 shot. So when you're riding 25 to 1 shot, you can do that. You can drop out. Take your time. If it works, great. If it doesn't.
So do you say yes? Love this big field. This is going to be fun, or do you go, oh God, I'm going to need?
No, I was so looking forward to this ride.
Really?
Because, it's so rare. I was a fast horse going up to 2.5, so I had to ride this way. There was no point in him riding him good and handy. They've gone a good gallop, and I loved riding this horse. I knew him very well. He was a tricky kind of customer, and we've just turned on the hill here, and you can just see I'm just starting to pass horses. I'm following David Mullins on Blueberry in front of me in the purple with the yellow, and Ruby's just in front of him on Uradel. So I'm following those two, thinking they're going to get me into the race. And I could just about see, you can see the grey horse with Harry Cobden, orange cap, yellow, looks like it's absolutely pulling a roller. And that's catching my eye, I'm thinking, right, that's probably going to bring me to the last hurdle. So we jumped this, I'm in behind Harry now. And I remember coming around the home bend here shouting at David saying, keep it tight, and then Ruby's voice popped up, not that tight. So David obviously coming in a bit
Might
tight.
have been an expletive in there as well, I'd say.
So we've come around the outside, I'm thinking, grand, Harry's going to give me a lead to the last, and we go on then, change my hands. Suddenly Harry finds nothing, suddenly I'm in front down before the last, I'm thinking, oh.
On a doubtful stare.
On a doubtful stare. Yeah. So I don't commit, I just get over the last and commit over the last. Maybe I should have, once I was going, should have just kept going. But he hasn't stopped. He's kept going. I can feel Ballyandy on my left, and I'm leaning a little bit left, maybe to kind of intimidate him. But unfortunately, I should have been leaning a little bit to my right. Whisper Nicola Bombville, the last stride. And I didn't know.
Did you know?
No, you never, like, often, more often than not, you do know. I didn't know, or I hoped I didn't know anyway. But
Yeah, you didn't want to know.
yeah, if I could ride one race again, I'd that. Because that to me would have been, to come from last in a Coral Cup.
It'd be amazing. It'd be one of those rides
that's
season.
That's how you want to do it, like, you know.
Hoped I didn't know.
Yeah. Tell me,
Means you're always fearing the worst.
why didn't you ride Wicklow Brave?
I probably thought Uradel had a better chance.
He was an older horse, top weight.
Yeah.
Obviously.
He'd won a
Plus the
county
fact it was
hurdle.
25-1.
Top weight as well. He'd won a county. He could be a bit
And he
tricky
won this
at the
county at that
start.
stage, yeah?
He had, because he was well in.
That was
like,
Katie, what rode that?
No,
Paul.
okay. I pulled him up. He had stood at the start the previous Saturday in the Imperial Cup before he won the county.
Really?
I pulled up at halfway. He got left 15,
okay.
so I only went to halfway and pulled up.
Yeah.
Got left more.
Speaking of seconds, Melon. Poor old Melon. Always seemed to run into one.
Poor old Melon.
Yeah. Does this
Of the two of them, this is the one I'd want another go at.
Yeah, I don't agree, but I know why. But yeah.
So Melon a very Ruby, you rode Melon loads of times as well, but like finished second as Supreme, second. So he did second in every bloody race, right?
I was second on a more. I'd say most of the times he finished second.
Yeah.
But just for a bit of context here, so Paul, I'd obviously won on Faugheen, and I had thought Faugheen was just going to rock, and Paul's got the front and just sat against him and we're hacking here. Look, we're all on top with each other.
So that means you're going too slow, basically.
Well, Paul was happy what he was doing. He's obviously, you can see Faugheen, I'm the yellow on Melon, and Dave Russell and Sam beside me. But my lad's just jumping so well, and Paul's jumped to it right there, and I think it's before this fence or after this fence, I've just said, we're going too slow, and I just let my lad go and jump, and we've gone to the front. And if I'd won the race, you'd say that was a decision.
Yeah.
Ruby did something similar on the Sow in Ryanair once upon a time.
Like Sam Pro was the second.
Faugheen had I'd beaten Sam Crow with Faugheen at Christmas.
Yeah.
And you can see Melon, once he's got the front, he's pricked his ears. And we've met every jump brilliantly. If you go through every jump in this, we've made ground at every jump. It's been a fantastic spin. And I think that chase track is, for front runners, it is definitely an advantage.
On a jumper, definitely, yeah. When you're getting it soft like this, like they're hacking. Look at Faugheen's pulling back off, and the horse Puppy is riding on the inside. Looks like he's going as fast as he can, but if you're getting it easy and you're jumping, to me it doesn't matter what the track is.
Yeah.
To me, if you're getting it easy and you're in front and you're jumping, you're in the right place.
Yeah.
Because you're making everyone chase after you. So like, I actually think tactically you're in the right place every step of the way.
Yeah, because it looks like an easy lead, doesn't it?
It is, and once I've got to the front, he's been second in Champion Hurdle, so I haven't wanted to go really fast either, but I want to use my jumping. I don't want to be getting stuck in the middle of people, jumping into the back of people.
Yeah.
And you can just see every jump down the back here.
We've Tornado Flyer at the back.
Tornado Flyer at the back with Danny in the green and white.
And what's Keen in the second colour of riches?
I'd say it's Rachel on Bapom.
Oh my God.
Who's not big.
No.
But have a look at the business end, because this
here.
does get interesting.
Because this is vital. This is where the last three fences are big here. Watch Faugheen. Paul sits on him, I think. He misses it, and he goes from a perfect position to David Russell, close the door, and now Paul's in behind, and that's not where Faugheen wanted to be as a 12-year-old. Paul, if he jumped that well, would be beside me. So that's cost him the race, I would say. If he was having again, he'd love to ride that jump again. Now, I'm flat out here. David Russell has actually gone by me. He has me beat. David Davey has me beat here. He's gone past me. I'm kind of riding to get home.
Yeah.
But Davey at the second last. He sends him. He misses it. Puts down.
And you're back in.
And I'm back in front. So because of those two mistakes, we're back in front. But I'm not going forward. So I'm coming down to it. I can't see a stride. I played safe. Sat up. We popped it. Davies rolled the dice, winged it. Now Davies very good here. He gets in tight against me, and Melon doesn't run forward until the rail on the inside drops away. Gets a little bit of, what's it now? The rail's already gone. And we start getting back up.
Jeez, you were getting there, weren't you?
There, no, the rail was there. So he starts running forward, and we just
You definitely didn't know there, did you?
I did not know there, no.
Yeah.
But if you had it again, you got beat. You just keep the revs up and just hope he does something at the last.
Yeah.
But for me, my instinct at the moment was there's no stride. So if we'd gone down, we'd made a mistake, or we'd got in tight, we'd have lost as much momentum.
Yeah, but you literally got beaten a nod. Like, it's typical jockey to find the reason why.
Yeah,
maybe
but
it is. Maybe there is something that happened mid-race that makes a difference with that nod.
You have to. You should look. If you're not looking as to what I could have, should have, would have,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean anything to you. So how are you going to get any better? How are you going to do it right? You have to look and think, if I could have.
This is what I should have done.
I
And
think you have to.
even what he said there, Ruby did it once and undecided. Like, that's obviously something you spotted that Ruby did once.
The
And
tactics.
it's part of your, I don't know, it's in your mind saying, okay, this is one thing we can do in this situation because I've seen it happen or whatever.
But it's interesting. Like, I'd love to ride the last fence right, but I mean, every other fence went so well for us. And like I said, the second last, Sam Crew missed it. The third last, Boheen's made a mistake. So each of those,
Yeah.
everyone's made a mistake at the last three.
Yeah.
If I had it again, you just keep the revs up and hope. But
Yeah.
you see lads do that as well, and they make a mistake and they get beat.
Winning on the ones though that shouldn't win.
That's the most satisfying, is it? Yeah.
So yeah, it was. I was gutted because that year I had 4 seconds in Cheltenham.
Did you?
I was second on Shars in Champion Hurdle. I was second on Appreciating the Bumper. I was second on Melon, and then Billaway was second. I had one each day, and I was the third second. I was barely sick of second at that stage.
You knew your way to the
Beat that
post,
out.
the second post, and the winners later. But before we move on, Ruby, you at the start of this, you said this is the one you'd like to have again if you were him. So why? What is there anything particular about it, or just?
I just rode differently. So I definitely wouldn't have held him to the last.
You would have gone for it.
I'd have ended up on the floor a good bit more than most people.
Yeah.
But I'd have kept going.
I read that in the paper once that you stole.
But I would. But I got handed it back.
Yeah.
Like Faheen misses, Sam Crow misses.
Yeah.
Like I'd have been just thinking, now I could have ended up on the floor.
Yeah.
But that's where I'd have ended up. Either I'd have won or been on the floor.
Okay.
And if I had it again, that's what I do. Yeah. But that was the decision in the moment.
That's the difference. Different people do different things. I would look, to me, Wicklow Brave, I'd prefer to go on that. And that's a higher grade of race as well.
And I had a slight thing when he'd won in Leopardstown at the last. Paul had ridden him like that down to the last, and he didn't make a great shape of it. There was something I had in my head going out that he wasn't one just to fire. I wanted to give him support, and I kind of thought when I sat back up and took him bit in his mouth, we'd find a stride, but it didn't come. And yeah, if you had it again, you'd probably go forward with the strides first.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
different, Jen, I tell you.
Okay, well,
It's a different, not this argument, it's a different discussion. But to me, it's always how important it is how you teach novices early. I was always of the opinion that you got to teach the horse to jump and you ride the race.
yeah.
But if you were trying to show jump them, it'll cost you somewhere.
Yeah.
That's what I always felt, anyway, that the horse has to learn to figure out, move his feet, figure it out for himself.
Okay, so yeah, there'll be a few falls along the way when he's learning. Well, the good news is we're back in Clover because it's 2022. So this is Stattler.
This is the next year, is it? No, it's probably a couple of years later. But at this stage, they've done their best to decimate the national chase, and we're a very small field. Jamie's in front with Gigginstown. Derek on the grey horse Vanillier. I'm on Stattler, and I mean, what a fantastic horse to ride. You'd ride him blindfolded.
Is it nearly harder because it's fewer runners, like tactically, or is it easier?
No, so much easier. And the smaller a field is, and that's why the novice hurdles and novice chase now a bit, Ruby know more of it, but like when there's a bigger field, you have two options. Do you go forward and get your position, but then risk running too keen or risk getting racing too early, or do you drop in, get settled, but then maybe not get a run? Whereas in a 7 or 8 runner race,
You can decide half
It's even as well, big fields, are you in or out?
Yeah.
It's very hard when you're slap bang in the middle because you're getting bumped and bored from both sides.
Yeah.
So you're forward, back, in or out. So it limits the options in bigger fields. Like I was riding in this race, You've loads of room.
What I do remember this was the day Constitution Hill won, and the ground was good to firm. We hit 39 mile an hour, I think it was, coming down to the second last in a 4 mile chase.
Yeah.
We came down to the second last some speed. We'd hacked around, and look, Jamie's horse was I was going much easier. I got a lead down to the second last, but we were going some speed into this.
And see it.
Jump this, get across in front of Jamie, make him switch, go down and jump the last. And
So that's a tactic. You literally cut him off a little bit just to.
yeah, well, in a chase you give him a little bit of room, but
Not too much.
not too much. Yeah.
Just enough to see it.
But you definitely don't want, once you go by someone and you don't want them to come back up your inside. And look, he's won his year's pricks. So yeah, I think now Maureen Mullins probably could have done that one.
3 winners that year.
2 winners that year: Facile Vega and Billaway were the other 2. Yeah,
Okay, great. So good year.
my best year.
Satisfied coming home.
Yeah, look,
Versus 4
I think
seconds.
it's something. Yeah, exactly. 4 seconds, 3 winners.
You're saying about him there, right? And yeah, Maureen Mullins could have won it. But I'd say winning on him helped you winning on this.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
Definitely. So you're going, anyone could have ridden him. But I'd say winning on him made a big difference to this race.
We're going to look at Facile Vega, the
Yeah.
bumper. So Facile Vega is in the red colours with the blue sleeves, right?
Yeah. And
Right
yeah,
in the
so we roll it there now. So I'm lined up in the middle here, and we want it to be kind of middle or wide. But watch Danny on the grey horse. He starts the inside and wheels out in the middle of the course, takes everyone out there,
That's where it all began.
and you can see myself and Paul have both got into a complete backwash. Now we're not really where we want to be.
Okay. And is that Danny on purpose or
No,
just?
he's trying to do that. So it happened to be Danny, but like,
Yeah.
so now I'm sort of not really where I want to be, to be honest. But I am settled, which is great. And it's funny, what I was saying about the champ bumper, go and go, that people started cotton onto that, people started doing that. And if you watch champ bumper the last 7 or 8 years, more often than not, the winners come from out the back
Because they go
because the
too-
races got
too
faster
much,
and faster and faster.
Yeah, but Stattler doesn't run the day before. Your plan has gone out the window and you are now 2/3 of the way back.
You'll be gone.
Yeah.
You're not just as confident as you are here because
yeah.
you've
Here
won
we
in the
go
bag.
again. Cheltenham's so
You know
unlucky
what?
for me, like.
You've won in the bag. I know where I am. I know what I'm doing. He gets beaten the day before.
Yeah. Your
It's
confidence
a different ballgame.
Slightly different ground.
This is the next day there was a complete deluge, and they nearly called us off.
Yeah, I remember.
We were waiting for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. They were going to call. I was thinking they were going to call off a bumper for rain. We had to go in and out down the back. We had to avoid the hurdle, where the hurdles had gone into the ground. So anyway, at least I'm settled here. But the kickback, I don't really want to be here. So I can see Jamie on American Mike. Am I right? So I get back here and I pull out, and then I just follow Jamie again, robbing the eagle. He's the person going to lead me. I got Brian Hayes me outside. He's minding me like a baby. And
Just pushed him out of the way there and he said nothing.
yeah. You don't mind pushing your friends out of the way. But so this is a bit complicated because we have to come in and then go back out. So that tight. Every time we're doing that, it tightens it up,
again,
and people get squeezed. And people get squeezed, people get anxious, and people go forward, and then you get knocked down. Rachel Blackmore's in front, Hulan Batordache, the bit ran through his mouth, so she's dragging the field on. They've gone a good gallop.
You were half thinking of riding Redemption Day at one point.
Redemption Day and Facile Vega, there was very little between them.
He's down the inside in the blue and green.
Even down the inside of Paul, but he wouldn't have liked this ground at all. He wants real top of the ground.
So you would have thought the
But
day
you didn't.
before it was top of the ground.
Yeah, and the thing was, Redemption Day scoped terribly before DRF, so he didn't run DRF. So Facile Vega went and won, so I could only ride Facile Vega. Whereas the Redemption Day ran DRF, I don't know what would have happened. But that decision was made for me in that case. So yeah, we're going down the field. 2 of the guys going down the inside. James Gate, who does finish 3rd on Redemption Day. I'm just following Jamie, and I'm just thinking to myself, I just need to keep holding on, take a lead into the straight, get balanced. I would have preferred to come outside, but I was going to have to get into a bit of a barge match, so I come inside. And
are you confident here? You know you've plenty of horse.
I know I've plenty of horse, and how much Jamie has, but then once I've set my fella light, and again, cross over in front of Jamie, make him switch.
This would be a common trait of yours,
And get onto the rail, get your stick to the left hand, get the rail on one side, your stick on the other side, keep him straight, and get over the line. And I got a great kick out of this, because look, Key Vega, that history, he was a favourite. Winning on a favourite is the best kick. You know, like
because
winning,
the crowd is noisier.
but
and,
people are up to it, and there's a pressure to it as well.
Yeah.
Do you know, winning, you can win on a 16-1 shot, and sorry, it's brilliant, but it is a different type of feeling, I think.
It is. I won the bumper on Briar Hill. It was 25-1.
Yeah.
I said it was 4 people in the winners enclosure,
yeah.
and 2 of them were Graham and Andrea Wiley.
funny, it reminds me of Royal Ascot years ago when Slade Power won on the Saturday. I was there with Mum, and when he hit the front like about maybe 2 or 3 furlongs out, and you come into the crowd, kind of it's just the straight 6 furlong race, and the crowd, as soon as the commentator says in Slade Power hits the front, like the crowd just Mum sort of said, God, they really love Slade Power over here. I was there, Mum, he's the 4th favourite in a row. The first 3 are after winning. Like, so. But I totally hear you. Yeah. Billaway, you must be very fond of Billaway.
Fond is one word. I mean, he'd be very hard to place, but I definitely feel a bit safer now.
It's heart and mouth stuff, like, but some amazing days.
He could jump brilliant, but he just would have a brain fade every now and then he'd be lazy.
Every now and then?
He was. I got some. But anyhow, this race, he'd been second the 2 years before, or the last 2 years, and the year before I hadn't been able to ride him. Paul had ridden him because it was COVID, amateurs weren't allowed to go, and I couldn't go over as staff, because when the staff I'd have to. He doesn't jump this one great now. There's a bit of a birch, but I would have to quarantine for 2 weeks.
Oh, this is COVID, is it?
This is the year after COVID. So he'd
yeah.
been second year before. So anyway, I'm here. They've gone a good gallop, but again, this is a race that's won kind of because of something else that happens rather than just me. Like, I'm only pumping away here, but I know he's going to finish. He's a lazy horse. We get a good jump here. Barry O'Neill's in front on wing leader, and this is a little thing, that there's fresh ground on this day, it's Gold Cup day. The guy in front of me, I think it's Alice Chadwick, goes to come out and I let her shout him to stay in. And he does, which keeps me on the fresh ground, and it keeps me it means I don't have to go the long way around these horses.
Yeah.
So I knock him down here before the fence, but
Cheers, you said thanks, did you?
I do think that something little like that might have made the difference.
Yeah.
And again, here's what wins me the race. Jamie takes on Barry O'Neill.
Yeah.
No, I'm going as fast as I can anyway, but Jamie takes on Barry O'Neill and they get going. So if Jamie's not there, Barry would have been sitting. He'd only be 2 lengths ahead of me, and he'd have just lasted home. But Jamie taking him on, that beat him. I'm turned in, hit my lad a slap, and I just think to myself, yeah, we're still in with a chance here.
Really?
Still in with a chance.
Because I know once I in Cheltenham probably thinking that.
I know once I really go for him, he's going to pick up.
So you haven't gone for him yet?
No. So now put it now. Now I'm going for him. Hit him 2 here. We get past Jamie, and I can't fire him at the last because he just would put down you. So I just keep the revs up, get over it, and now you're just hoping. So again, I'm hoping because they've gone at it, I'm going to come back, change stick to my left hand, put it back into my right hand, then again, and when I get it back in my right hand here, he takes off, and I'm just praying that the post doesn't come too soon. I'm thinking, please let me get there.
I mean.
And I got there because I'd never won the Fox Hunters, and I'm not going to get much chance because we don't have many Fox Hunters. And he was a proper Fox Hunter horse. He came from Point of Points. Yeah. He never ran as a track horse. And John Turner got a great thrill out of it. And again, the National Chase and the Bumper, they're the last race in the card. A lot of the crowd are gone home. Yeah. They're not going home for that. It's the race after the Gold Cup. There's a different kind of reception.
Okay, that's interesting, yeah. This is our fan zone in Dublin while that was happening for you. I think Paul Carberry took this video. He was down there as well, so people are going absolutely bananas for it. Because everyone had backed it, like it was favourite. It was favourite, I think, wasn't it? Yeah.
It's the accumulators, wasn't it?
We had 5
or 6
that's
right.
Yeah,
the Cumes as well were coming up. Look at this is deadly. The disbelief.
Triumph and disaster, isn't it? Just in the... Yeah.
That was me. I was never more happy to get out of Dodge. The other way you have a long out of Cheltenham, and then they said, will you be in Dublin on the Friday? I was like, yes, I would love to be.
Taking those couple of lads at that table, obviously.
Yeah, they didn't back it.
No,
but look, he was a hero of a horse. He was there for me for 6 years, and I don't get to ride horses consistently. So himself and Charger are the 2 horses that I've really ridden consistently, and you got to know him. And look, he gave me some great days. He won a Punchdown. We got beaten a Punchdown. He gave me some great falls as well. The twice you put blinkers on him, or the only twice he fell.
Oh, you think he was crying out for them, like?
Yeah. So yeah.
Tunnel vision didn't suit him.
Now we're getting more recent now. 2023 Gaillard Du Mesnil. Like, this race is often run pretty much in the dark. I know the TV doesn't do it justice. It looks brighter there, but it's always dusky, isn't it?
It is.
It's kind of an eerie race. It reminds you of Halloween or something. It's an eerie race.
But this fella, I had gone with this fella.
Where is he?
I'm in the grey horse out the back.
Donnelly colours.
Donnelly colours, yellow colours. Jamie's on my outside behind me, as myself and Jamie would normally be upsides out the back in this race. But
that's Jamie Codd.
Jamie Codd, yeah. So this fella had plenty of experience. He was a second season novice, but he'd been second in a Drimmore, and my thinking was I was a fast horse in the race. I just needed him to settle, so I dropped him right out. and got him jumping. And sometimes when horses are used to going a bit faster, and a lot of the horses I ride in this race have been ridden as slow horses, so they're used to being poked out and go faster. But if you want a horse to settle, you're kind of sitting on them. And as Ruby says, you're trying to get them to just make their own decisions. But anyway, this fella had loads of experience. But Johnny Barry makes a big decision here. I'm looking up and I can see Derek in the maroon in second. I see Jamie outside. I'm thinking, we're happy out. Johnny Barry in front in the blue on Mallar Mission goes down to this ditch, wings it, and says, right, come and get me. So I've jumped out. Well, at this moment, what I can see, I'm thinking, happy enough. We're going into the bend, and obviously my vision then is I can only see the couple of horses in front of me.
Johnny's Mallar Mission was one of the fancied horses in this race as well. Like, so it wasn't like an outsider.
And Johnny set sail there. So now when we walk out and I look up, and suddenly I'm thinking, where's this horse going?
How did he get there?
But I'm also thinking, I've got Derek and Jamie here, I'm happy enough. But again, like I'm saying, you have to ride to the finish line. So yeah, he's gone, but I just have to ride to the finish line. He's going to have to get home.
Yeah, but that's Mr. Coffee. He's still a maiden. And what's the other one? Chemical Energy?
Chemical Energy, yeah. Ooh, never fought her. And I'm flat out here, and here I'm not sure I'm going to get there. But all I do know is we didn't give him the ground. He took it. He paid for it. He has to pay for it at some stage. He hasn't got it for free.
I think it's fascinating how your mind works. I was always fascinated by Ruby as well. That's the way you think about it. You think,
well,
like, okay,
have to be, yeah.
So that's convincing yourself you're going to get there.
Yeah. Well, like, but it's obviously important, like, right?
And to me, I'm thinking I'm going to beat Jamie, and your man might not get home. So once again, horse on the inside, the second last, foots down and falls. Jamie makes a mistake, and now I'm thinking I might get there. Get my stick out, down to the last. Go again, and I don't know why, but I end up losing my rhythm. I end up just sitting down and flat me arse here. Then it's not very stylish, but anyway, we get there, get past Jamie again. And look, I've ridden 5 winners over fences at Cheltenham. I've led over the last once. Really? It's just great. It's great to have a lead over the last and have something to aim for up that hill.
And you enjoyed that as well.
Enjoyed that. Yeah. He was favourite. Yeah. So, but look, I thought it was interesting. Would Johnny have kept going? I don't think so. I thought, like I said, he didn't get it for free. He took it. He got it. He took it going downhill. We still had to come back uphill. Yeah. I think we'd have got there.
Yeah. We're gonna finish off watching Jasmin De Vaux in the bumper last year.
So how'd you pick him?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
I think we had 8 or 9. Basically, he was the only one that I couldn't really get a proper negative on. He's not pretty, he's not big, but he won very well.
Sorry, just because it's a big field.
Some positive way of making a decision.
Yeah, it was a negative way of
green, double green on the left-hand side.
Again, this is kind of what I was saying earlier, and I without sounding whatever.
Why is Daryl Jacob not riding?
Daryl's over on Seda Shant, the other horse, but look, I in the bumper I get first pick.
Even on the Munir horses.
Yeah, they were very kindly let me take it. But it is a speciality kind of race. It is different than riding a dumps race.
Yeah, you ride. I used to always think that actually, people say it's a negative. It's great having Ruby Walsh up, whatever. But Ruby hasn't ridden a bumper all year.
There is slight difference, but I got a kick out of this because to drop in one as a second favourite. If it goes wrong, you're thinking, what the. What are you doing back there? Yeah. If you're riding a 16-to-1 shot or 21-to-1 shot like Wicklow Brave, it's fine. But I just decided I want to get this fella settled. And like I said, the race had changed from how it used to be. Yeah. And I think it'll probably change again. So we dropped out, we went wide, we got cover, we got a nice fresh ground. Grand and Brian Hayes on my inside there. Brian is obviously usually where I am as well, but he's not riding horses as good, unfortunately for him. Yeah. Just got a great.
How many runners did the yard have in this?
I think we had 7 or 8. I can't ride the fillies, you see, they're too light for me. So I couldn't ride the Jodie's on Flora Facile in the blue there. I was worried about her. And then we had 7 or 8 others, but I think 2 of them were maidens, Fishery Lane and Seda Shant, so I didn't want to ride them. Cantico got beaten. Argento Boy had 1, but hadn't really impressed me. Sound Victorious again had 1, but hadn't really impressed me. You Ought to Know was probably the other one I could have ridden. He'd been second DRF. Danny's on him in the purple. Jasmin had just won and won well. So yeah, like I am kind of shouting at Brian Hayes here to keep it tight here. And a bit like I was saying on Billaway, like to me, you should be trying to move as many pieces on the board as you can. Yeah. And if you know someone, Willie always said to me, always call people their first name. They're more inclined to move or do you a favour. Always get on with people. Yeah. Or if you can see someone who's not going well, they're more inclined to maybe let you take their place or let you. So, you should. To me, you've got to ride as many horses as you can.
Is that kind of like a jockey's code? That if you're beat, you kind of get out of the way?
Not necessarily. If you don't like a fella, you might not.
No, he wouldn't budge.
Or if he nailed it last week.
If he hadn't moved for you the week before, it's kind of tit for tat, I suppose. But
so that's jockey's code.
You're not running away here, like.
No, but I've given him a squeeze and I've picked up and I'm happy and I'm getting a clear run.
Paul's doing a half speed like in the Gallop in the Champ colours.
Yeah, but again, it's just that's how where you'd love to be in 10 years ago. Whereas now, the way I just riding it, I prefer to have something to aim at. So I'm following Paul, I'm following Brian. I'm thinking, grand. I'm looking across. I can see Jack Kennedy and the Giggins on horses running away.
Can you see Keith Donoghue?
I can see Keith.
Black and white.
Couldn't see Keith till we started turning in the red gloves. I'm shouting at Brian here to keep in as well. I probably cut the snot off Brian a little bit there, right? To be fair. And I'm just thinking now, just get a lead. Don't get there too soon.
What's Harry Swan on? Is that no Jordan Gainsford? Is it?
Jordan Gainford. And then I want to be wide. You didn't want to be in the middle of the track. You could have gone down the very inside or come wide. And I just want to come wide and I keep my stick down to get past the wing of the last.
Because you want the rail?
The fresh ground.
Okay.
Same track as Tuesday and it's the last race on Wednesday. Want to get past the rail and now go for your stick because you can't run out. To pull it into your left again. I'm hoping I can get past Keith. And here I'm pretty sure, bar something appears that I can't see, we're going to get over the line. And he does. And that's Willie's 100th winner. So
yeah, and did you know that?
I did, yeah. But funnily enough, it wasn't my first thought. My first thought was about myself. Yeah. I think that gave me one more than Ruby in the champ bumper. Was it? Did you use 3 or 4? I don't know anyhow. But
I definitely made 4 in you.
Looking about thinking more selfishly, yeah. But obviously El Fabiolo had not won the Champion Chase, which was meant to be the 100 for many years. So it was great to do it. Yeah.
And are you? Do you know? Are you the winning most Cheltenham bumper jockey?
Winning most. I think I have more champion bumpers, but Jamie has more winners in Cheltenham than I do. I think he has 10. I have 9, so I need another 2 to beat him.
No retirement yet, so.
Well, he says he's not retired yet either, so maybe he's waiting to come back.
Yeah, good point. So that was last year. What about this year? What's the one? What's the three winners you'll have this year?
3 winners this year. I've no Billaway. I've no.
No national hunt chaser.
Yeah.
Well, there is, but it's not for
gone.
amateurs.
Yeah, that's a big blow to me.
But you're liable to get plenty of rides, right? I mean, because there's so many runners.
Yeah,
and you're basically a pro that doesn't get paid.
Look, I'm in a very privileged position that. So in Ireland, I'm an amateur, so I can only ride in 21 professional races in Ireland.
Okay.
So that limits me. So I have to be very careful what professional races I ride in the season. In England, that rule doesn't exist, and I think that rule exists in Ireland because Ted, one year as champion amateur, had more winners than the leading pro, or so. I think
pretty close to it.
It's a myth anyway. Whether it's a myth or whether it's
another
true.
thing that's Ted
what I
Walsh's
was told.
fault.
Yeah. So I don't know. Our bumper horse.
Actually, he did, but it's not why it's there. It goes back to the fact that you don't have to pay an amateur, whereas you have to pay the professional. So it was to stop people booking lads to ride for free.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
The amateurs got limited to the amount of professional races.
That makes sense, doesn't it?
So yeah, but I get to pick up a lot of second and third strings in Cheltenham. But it's funny, second and third strings win all the time. DRF. There's very few second strings win in Cheltenham. I mean, Paul would have had very few winners in Cheltenham when you were riding.
Too many for my liking. Enough of them, including a couple of Gold Cups. You'd be surprised. Novice races.
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't think so. I think Paul might have had 3 or 4 in the 10 years he was riding there. And one of them was Annie Power.
Penn Hill.
Yeah.
Album photo. Do you want to keep going?
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, but So I don't know at the moment. I don't have a national hunt chase to fall back on. I don't have a Fox Hunter horse, and I want to win the Kimeora because only John Oaksey and Derek O'Connor have won all 3 amateur races, and
you should set about making a plan for that.
And I might have one for next year. It's a long-term plan. It's a long-term plan, but I don't have one for this year. Maybe transmission if Neil Mulholland put me up with him. But I think he might.
All right in the Cleve.
Yeah, but I think he might be going for national chase, which is now a professional race. So.
Yeah. Well, Patrick Mullins, thank you very much for a great afternoon. It's very interesting to get inside your head a little bit. And don't worry about Cheltenham. I'm sure you'll have 3 winners. You might know what they are yet, but they will appear as they always do. And thank you, Ruby Walsh, as well, for your insights as always. And you at home, thanks a million for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a great Cheltenham.